Hello everyone, this is Heroes Trivia. Welcome back to Season 4 of our subscriber game tournament as we continue here in Round 1. Now this will be the final match in Group C, the 6th match between Beihai Butchers in the green versus Big Boy Roy in the red. And looking at the composition here for Beihai Butchers, we have an infantry heavy composition with unbreakable Yellow Sky Heralds across Huang Shao and He Man, boosted by 2 Chanter units, and then we have Mulu bringing 4 Wolf Packs, which are high speed, high charge bonus, spear infantry that can counter cavalry. They also bring a couple of javelins, which has very high damage, and then of course 2 elephants. Now overall, the generals have a few active abilities. We're not sure if Mulu is on his elephant or not, but assuming he is, he's going to be great with those morale debuff as well as AoE abilities. We have He Man with surprise attack, with his hail of arrows, and we'll see how this composition work together. It's going to be very good against infantry, a little bit weak against cavalry, and a very weak against range, but usually there's not many range in multiplayer. For Big Boy Roy on the red side, we have an army composition featuring Yuan Shao, Yuan Tan, so familial conflict for very fast attack speed on the generals, and then rounded off with Sun Jian providing a good AoE bonus as well as a charge bonus on his active ability. And all 3 generals are going to be unbreakable here. Then in terms of unit, we have the Ye Vanguard Spearmen. They also pack a secondary crossbow with only 160 range, but they are actually quite good against cavalry. They're mostly a cavalry counter in square formation. They might work against elephants. We'll have to see if that is the case. Usually elephants are just very good at rolling through infantry, but with the crossbow and square formation, maybe the elephants won't have an easy time against them. Then on Yuan Tan, we have 3 of the Xiongnu Cavalry. They should do wonders against the Yellow Sky Herald, even though Yellow Sky Heralds are unbreakable, so even though you can dish initial damage on them through the charge, killing them all will be quite difficult. Now the level up on them might have been a little bit wasted. I think the money should have been spent on the Ye Vanguard Spearmen, as you can boost their crossbow capability with the rank up as well. Then finally on Sun Jian, we have a couple of Saber Infantry, which are good against other infantry, which will find great use in this matchup here against Beihai Butcher's army comp, although don't put them in front of the elephants. And finally, we have a Tiger Guard that can give the guard passive to the generals. So this is going to be a very important match for the rankings in this group, because so far Big Boy Roy is coming in here with a 2-0 record, and Beihai Butcher is coming in with a 1-1 record. So the winner will automatically take the group. Since if Beihai Butcher win, they will both have a 2-1 record, but Beihai Butchers will have the head-to-head tiebreaker over Big Boy Roy, and both of them will advance to the next round as first and second place finishers. Now, if Big Boy Roy wins, then we have him winning the group in first place with a 3-0 record, and a 3-way tie of 1-2 record between the other 3 players, which will really complicate tiebreakers as we'll have to break down game time. So we'll see if we come down to that. First, we'll have to see how this battle turns out. As we load into game here, we can see that Beihai Butchers have deployed some of his unit in the neutral zone here. Vanguard deployed the Wolf Packs. They are very good at being Vanguard deployed, because their job is to charge and to have their Pack Hunter ability active, throw away their 5 javelins, deal massive damage, and then just dish out melee charge bonus. On the other side, we have He Man with the Yellow Sky Herald, at least a group of them with the Chanter. And he's here to mainly do his hail of arrows and then potentially pull back to get protected by his unit. And then those who can't Vanguard deploy are in the back here. Then look at Big Boy Roy, pretty standard deployment. Cavalry in the back, in the rear, and then infantry in the front. Saber in the front, I guess it's good if you're playing campaign. You expect enemy range to hit you, then obviously they have good range block chance, especially with formations, although here we can see they don't really have access to formations due to the general choices, no strategists here. And then we have the Ye Vanguard Spearmen, which will be very key to see if they can stop the elephant here. Ooh, we got an early use of surprise attack on Huang Shao. So we'll actually have 2 sets of surprise attack to give stock on both generals. It'll be interesting to see if they can take advantage of that and sneak up through perhaps the crossbow range of the Ye Vanguard Spearmen. They don't see these are hidden in the forest, so maybe the cavalry can run into them. That would be actually pretty bad news, as the javelins will shred them first. Huang Shao's really fast, but there's really no active ability on him that he can use. Maybe they can charge into the Saber Infantry. They're pretty vulnerable to generals. He is on Elephant, not surprised. Wonder if the Wolfpack are gonna pick up kills here, because there's no other good answer against... Ooh, here comes the crossbow, hitting the Elephant. Now hitting the general is not going to be that useful. Couple taps here. This is a really good hail of arrows if he can pull off the micro. There's a lot of things going on. Ooh, here comes the javelin. Here comes the javelin. It's absolutely shredding the cavalry. But they're pulling, at least they're pulling away. But you can see how one volley really does a huge number here. Chanter landing in the first hit here, not a good choice. Elephants running through. They're in mixed formation, but no good. I think square would have been better. You minimize kind of the impact area. You give away like 1/4 of your unit instead of like basically 2/3 of your entire unit. Yeah, square is better, and you can continue to shoot even when they're behind you. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, let's see how this one fares. They only lost about 20 units. I think square would have been better. But this guy just got walked over. No Hail of Arrow usage yet. We got Yellow Sky Herald coming in. The Chanter, the poor Chanter here. They're dismounted. They're trying to land their kills with their fast attack speed on the general, but they're just pulling away, which is the smart thing to do. Oh, if he stops, he's gonna die pretty fast. The good news is he's with his unit, so they're kind of getting into mixed combat with the wrong thing. But if they do start focusing, Huang Shao's gonna die really, really fast. Alright, he pulled out. Now they're stuck kind of with the infantry. The Elephant have made short work. They did trade away, I think. No, they're still alive, just that they didn't get pulled through. Yep, unfortunately, nothing stops the Elephant, apparently. Here comes the Wolfpack to do a little bit extra damage. They did trap an Elephant. Even though this Elephant's technically here, they technically trapped a few. But I don't know who's trapped with who, right? They're still alive and they're not. So not really the case. I mean, Yuan Shao's not really using his Distant Courage on any of his unit to make them sort of unbreakable in these fights. He's too busy trying to chase down generals. They dismounted, so they lost all mobility. They're not stuck fighting unbreakable units, which will slowly grind off their health. The cavalry's stuck fighting unbreakable units. And the Elephant is cleaning up even the cavalry, as the Wolfpack will come in. Trying to use his bow to weaken Huang Shao here. I mean, yeah, they got all the attack speed in the world, but they're stuck doing melee combat with unbreakable units. Sun Jian's better suited for this because he has AoE Slam, but he should actually cycle out, come back in when the cooldown's ready. Now more units are being thrown at them. It's just basically all the unit in the world versus 3 generals at this point. The Wolfpack would kill this. 1 Saber, which is kind of lost in terms of command. He probably got routed and bounced back. Everyone's coming in. The general should not come in because they actually would just be hunted by these 2. Just pile infantry into them. There's not much they can do. The problem is, with Sun Jian still alive, you're leaving a lot of guys vulnerable to a very good AoE. Playing the Phoenix, getting a massive number of kills, which is not a good idea. Huang Shao should... Okay, Huang Shao's coming back. Provide a surprise attack. Mulu has died, right? They attack fast, especially it works against cavalry, basically generals who are still on horseback. It definitely works against generals who are still on elephants. Can they kill enough, though? That's the question. Okay, unbreakable, which is not needed. They're all unbreakable. Okay, 1 part of the familial conflict has been killed. And there's a couple more units they can throw at them. Slowly, they'll grind them down. Excellent AoE, but They're also unbreakable. And now Sun Jian's all that's left. Another Flame of the Phoenix. But there are just so many more. And the Wolfpack are waiting over there with javelins that can actually kill generals pretty fast if it comes to that. All Zhao's here. Alright, and down goes Sun Jian, and we avoid the three-way tie. We have Beihai Butcher pulling off the win on the back of his elephants, as well as just the sheer number of unbreakable unit, which didn't get many kills, but they were there to act as bodies against what was on Big Boy Roy's side. Now, I feel like in this setup, the mistake is actually on Yuan Shao, not actually using his Distant Courage. There was such a focus to use familial conflict to try to chase down generals early and get them killed that he sort of abandoned his units. So those Ye Vanguard Spearmen, which are super expensive to recruit by the way, basically did nothing. They tried to fend off the elephant and they really couldn't do it. I think a more scattered setup with the crossbow, don't line them up, put them as little scattered squares all across, so that as the elephant come in to charge one unit, you have the arrows shooting at them from the other crossbows, and then you basically try to drag it out. It was very difficult for the elephant to move out of the square, even after crushing it, and that might have slowed them down. Essentially, that entire very expensive infantry got wasted without any returns. The cavalry tried to get some kills against those unbreakable Yellow Sky Herald, but a lot of them were killed by the Wolfpack on that initial sort of engagement. It wasn't really an engagement, they just kind of peeked up, they saw them, they pulled back, and then, you know, the Wolfpack get the follow-up. They weren't really used in this fight until the very end. They, you know, did their job killing off the enemy cavalry. Unfortunately, just having infantry against elephants, just a very tough matchup. Sun Jian did his best, but I think that could have been micro better as well. You probably want him to stay on horseback, use ability, go out, use ability, go back out, and then kind of cycle through that to get more efficient usage of his health. And he might have even, you know, gone closer to 1,000 kills with this matchup against Yellow Sky Heralds, which is really not that scary. But those elephant really did wreck the match here, which is pretty much why we have this result, since Mulu also came on elephant. If Yuan Shao and Yuan Tan were going for a kill, I think Mulu would have been a better chase target, since he would have to come in and fight infantry. He can't really run away, and if he does get them to run away, that's a win for Yuan Shao and Yuan Tan as well. Maybe they don't have to go together. I think maybe Yuan Tan can go with Sun Jian, and then Yuan Shao is better sitting in one of the squares, try to provide distant courage, and see if those units can fight longer instead of routing away after taking a pretty bad initial charge by the elephants. But overall, very good match for Beihai Butchers. Now both players here will advance to the second round, with Beihai Butcher taking the slightly higher seed based off this head-to-head victory. And that wraps up our Group C. Both players who did not get the second win, they have a chance to advance as the best third place finisher. We'll see based on game time. It's going to depend because I do believe there will be a head-to-head winner between those players. I think Sylvia Bear is going to end up probably fourth in the group because he beat Beihai Butchers but lost everyone else, which include his opponent who also went 1 and 2 in this group. So that's how that's going to play out, and we'll see how the game time works once we get all 6 group finish. So until then, bye!